Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mana Confluence, a juncture for all things magic. Today, I'm joined by Commander Quest.
Hi.
In today's video, we're going to discuss Myr Tribal with a fun custom Dragon Highlander deck tech. If you want to learn about the format of CDH, we made a video on his channel that you can check out in the description below, or in the card in the top right of your screen to learn more about this format. Now that you are educated completely on the format of custom Dragon Highlander, we can continue with today's topic, the Myr of the Fist deck tech. The Myr of the Fist is a legendary artifact creature Myr. For a hybrid mana cost of 2 mana, or a colored for each of the 5 colors, it reads, once each turn you may tap 5 untapped Myr you control rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you cast. You can pay 5 and tap to create X tapped 1/1 colorless Myr artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of Myr you control. The Myr of the Fist is a 5/5. We are going to be building this with no budget limit, so let's jump in and see what this can do.
The first category we will be looking at is Myr Production, which is how we can have Myr out when we cast our commander, to more quickly build up an army. Palladium Myr and the somewhat similar Mana Myr cycle will help us get our Myr out and get our commander out early. They act as both relevant Myr and mana dorks. Given that many of our creatures happen to be artifacts, Mirrored and Besieged allow us to turn all our artifact creatures into creatures that will help us make even more creatures later. Myr Battlesphere comes out after the commander, but makes us 5 Myr and can turn our Myr into direct damage. Multiple things that this deck really cares about. Shimmer Myr allows us to use our commander's ability to cast things for free during our opponent's turn. And it's an artifact. What more could you want? Myr Galvanizer is a great little card that allows us to pump and untap our creatures, so that we can activate our commander multiple times with both abilities, and will turn our Myr into 2/2 creatures. Speaking of pump, we have
Small Pump. This category allows us to pump our creatures up by small amounts, which can really add up as the game goes on. One example of this is Mirari's Wake, which will pump our creatures of +1/+1. The amazing thing about pumping 1/1s is that they will be twice as large. But in order to get a bigger boost, we have bigger artifacts like Forsaken Monument. Forsaken Monument allows us to give our colorless creatures +2/+2, which sadly will not pump our commander, but it will make all of our Myr 3/3s at the very least. Having 3/3 Myr can make a huge impact on the game, which is why Steel Overseer is so powerful in this deck. It's a way to make our creatures larger and larger over time, and it will add a huge amount of counters to our creatures. When you're making new creatures, this can be hard to track in-game, so get your dice ready. Speaking of being good at making Myr, we have our next category.
Synergy. Seedborn Muse will untap your permanents each turn, similar to Awakening, which will allow us to use our commander on every turn and amass an army at an incredible rate, which is only compounded by cards like Korkesh, Onaki Ancient, which allows us to copy triggers. Illusionist Racers works in a similar way. This typically clones the ability of our commander, so why not go all in on this strategy with cards like Doubling Season? A similar version except in white is Anointed Procession, and one of my personal favorites, Parallel Lives. Because these effects are so wonderful, we can also run Second Harvest to have something like this take place at instant speed and go even wider. Making Myr is one of the main ways this deck is going to try and win the game. But winning with a lot of creatures means that we are going to need to keep our creatures around with
Protection. Protecting our permanents comes in all shapes and sizes, from high CMC spells like Avacyn of Hope, which can often be free and easy to cast when we have a full board and our commander out, to a cheaper spell like Akroma's Will, which can help us if an opponent casts a board wipe or removal by giving our stuff indestructible and protection from all colors. It can also be used to help win the game by attacking, adding versatility that is rarely matched in white. Overall, I love this card. Just like Eldrazi Monument, it's a similar effect, which can notably be cast for free just like many of these other cards due to our commander's static ability, and the indestructible will keep our creatures around for a long time. The flying it gives as well means we can easily do damage, and the +1/+1 is very relevant, but even more relevant is the next category.
Win Conditions / Big Pump. These cards give us a way to win, most commonly through pumping our creatures by a lot.
2068.
Craterhoof Behemoth is arguably the best example of Big Pump, and will pump all our creatures equal to the number of creatures we have, and give them trample. This will almost always be enough to kill all of our opponents and win the game, due to the nature of this deck creating tokens. Intruder Alarm is another way that we can easily win, and will be the most common target for tutors, due to its potential for combo. Say we have a Myr that can tap for mana like Copper Myr, and 5 Myr total on the battlefield. You can then tap your commander and make 5 more Myr, which will untap your commander and your Copper Myr 5 times. Each time it untaps, you can tap it for mana, and once you have 5 mana, you can tap your commander for mana again. This means you can make infinite Myr and infinite mana, which makes winning much easier. But besides combos and attacks, we have other ways to win the game. Perforos, God of the Forge, allows your creatures that enter to deal 2 damage to each opponent. In order to win the game, you only need 20 creatures to enter, which is surprisingly easy in this deck. Last in our win conditions is Time Sieve. If you have 5 or more Myr on the battlefield, then you can create enough Myr to sacrifice to Time Sieve every turn, while creating just as much mana. This will give you infinite turns and win you the game. But when we are losing, we have
synergistic board wipes. When we're not winning, sometimes we need a Wrath to clear our opponent's boards, and this deck is lucky enough to be able to run synergistic board wipes that not only save us, but sometimes benefit us. An example of this is Phyrexian Scriptures. It will destroy all non-artifact creatures so we can keep our Myr and get rid of most of our opponent's stuff. Ugin the Spirit Dragon has a similar effect designed to target opponents' creatures and permanents while sparing our own. These two are aided by Cyclonic Rift, which of course is a staple and goes in every deck that can run it or afford it in Commander. But for less dire circumstances, we have
removal. In order to remove individual threats, though, we have removal. And this deck, yet again, is lucky enough to have synergistic pieces, many of which come in the form of big spells we can tap our Myr out to play, like Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, which can be cheated out with our commander, removes our opponent's stuff, and can be a huge beater that punishes any opponent who dares not to leave up a blocker. Also in the removal category is Oko, Thief of Crowns, another amazing way to get rid of our opponent's stuff and replace it with an Elk. This is one of the best cards in Commander to nullify the effects of a powerful commander. Next is Terror of the Peaks, a way to turn new creatures entering the battlefield into removal or damage to opponents, removing a few creatures in most cases and pinging your opponents to death in better situations, as an endless horde of Myr enter. And to make sure we have removal when we need it, we have
card draw. Card draw is vital to keep our hand full of cards. This gives us options of what to cast or make sure we always have cards to cast. One such of these cards is Padim, Consul of Innovation, because not only is hexproof for our commander and various other creatures important and protection, but because our commander technically has 10 CMC, Padim gets to draw us an extra card on a regular basis, just like Skullclamp, which will draw us 2 cards for our 1/1 creatures if we equip it to them. Although sometimes this can be turned off with the pump effect, it's not something I would say is a big enough problem to not warrant running this incredibly powerful card. Another very powerful card is Watley Radiant Champion, because it is very easy to ultimate, and when you have enough creatures to get a lot of loyalty, it likely won't have to take damage, so it can easily be ultimated and draw you a large amount of cards as tokens enter the battlefield. Even though many of these effects may refresh our hand alone, redundancy is a vital part of a good commander deck. If one of our card draw outlets fail, it's important to have others that ensure we can still cast spells. In this case, Kindred Discovery, a powerful enchantment that will draw us cards for every Myr we create, and a lot of the time we attack with our Myr, this will add up quickly and draw us a lot of cards. We also do have a Changeling Myr, Realmwalker, that will get us Myr from the top of our library and help us know what's on top to better plan our turn. And we need to plan in this deck to have cards in hand, which is why the next section is so important.
Synergistic Ramp. The final category is Ramp. These cards allow us to get our commander and other spells out early and quickly, and allow this deck to function, like Cryptolith Rite, which is going to make all of our creatures able to tap for mana and let us cast things easily. As I said earlier, redundancy is key, so Urza, Lord High Artificer, is great, and similar in that it turns our artifacts and Myr into mana. But this card also serves a dual purpose, of being a mana sink for any time our deck is able to produce extra mana. The last piece of ramp we have is Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, which will make it so we don't have to pay for the colorless part of planeswalkers and creatures we cast, and we can hopefully win the game by simply +1ing this planeswalker.
Well, that's the deck. If you enjoyed the video, then why not subscribe to this channel and check out Commander Quest and subscribe there, who is linked in the description below.
If you like Commander content, then you will probably enjoy my channel too. I do deck techs, news videos, and topics related to Commanders.
If you like this deck and want to make it, then there is a link to the deck below as always, and you can consider using my tcgplayer.com affiliate link below, as it costs nothing else to you and supports the channel when you check out. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe again to both me and Commander Quest, and have a great day.